Hello guys, how are you? Hope everyone is doing good by now. Welcome to my class. Dear students, in the previous session, in the previous class, we discussed about Rabindranath Tagore's bio and his works, and he was famous for and the Nobel Prize. Not only we discussed it, we discussed about the plot, the history, the base of the poem. The poem that we are going to discuss today is Let My Country Awake, which widely known as Where the Mind is Without Fear. This particular poem has been used in different movies too. And we discussed what was the immediate cause which made Rabindranath Tagore to narrate this poem, write this poem. And we discussed the plot, we discussed the background, we discussed the political role at the time of writing this poem. We discussed what was the education situation at the time of writing this poem. Now let's learn more about this poem today. Let's go into the poem. Here we go. The poem title goes like Let My Country Awake. By this title, we can remind, we can remember, we can memorize the great saying of Swami Vivekananda. Arise, awake till not reached. Rabindranath Tagore wanted to awake the country, awake the countrymen. He wanted to get everyone aware and wake up towards something. It was not that he wanted countrymen to wake up from their sleep, but he wanted them to realize how they were suppressed, oppressed by means of their own people. Their own people were provoked by Britishers. He wanted to see our countrymen to be strong, hold strong, firm strong. We need to fight against the people whom we do not want them to rule us. But what was happening? We were fighting among us. There was only conflict between own people. So, he wanted them to wake up and see the realization. And he wanted everyone to realize. Let's go with the poem. You'll understand more. It is not literal meaning. I request everyone to not get a literal meaning of it. There is the notion of meaning, literary meaning that we can find in it. Where the mind is without fear, and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the deep depth of truth, where time strives and stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by tea into a widening thought that action, into that heaven of freedom. My Father, let my country awake. How beautifully he narrated the poem. When we listen, when we narrate, when we read this poem, the goosebumps should come out of all our skin. That is called involvement. Most of poems are there to appreciate it, appreciate them. Appreciate from your whole heart. Let's learn more about it. Let me read it again. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason, has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom. My Father, let my country awake. What a beautiful narration. How great picturization it is being written by. If you look at the first line, where the mind is without fear, the poet, the first line, was praying to the Almighty. The whole poem is praying to the Almighty that his countrymen should be free from any fear of oppression. The poet wishes that everyone in this country has his head should be held high in the dignity. In fact, people were living with no dignity. Every person, nook and corner of the country, across the country, should be fearless and have a sense of self-dignity. Where knowledge is free. Second line. The second line, the poet dreams of a nation where knowledge would be free. It's not knowledge should not be caused, should not be prized by the means of your religion, your community. Education should not be restricted to the upper class. But everybody should be allowed to acquire knowledge, because knowledge is divine, knowledge is to everyone. Not only that, the children should learn freely from the nature and the world around them. They should not be forced to memorize some predominated lessons. And this is Tagore's typical concept of education. He was envisioned about his education. That was the reason Shantiniketan, an experimental school, was inaugurated. If you go to the third line, where the world has not been broken up into the fragments, fourth line, by narrow domestic walls. The narrator, in these two lines, wanted to emphasize that the unity of not only of his countrymen, but also of the entire world. He thinks there should be no division among people, among us, between us, based on their caste, creed, color, religion, community, place, birth, color. These are all baseless superstitions. But we are born as one. This is what the poet wanted everyone to realize, as he wanted brotherhood to rule everywhere. In the fifth and sixth line, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. Here Tagore wants a nation where people are truthful. They should not be superficial, and words should come out from their depth of their own heart, own soul. Everyone to work hard to reach their goal in common. And the long run to reach the perfection. The perfection is freedom. The perfection is independence. He thinks everyone should not be tired by working, They should not be satisfied by the work. People should not be lazy and ignoring their work. Today's your work is tomorrow's result. Remember, this is what he wanted to show. Those two lines. If you look at the 7th and 8th line, where the clear stream of the reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert and sand of dead habits. The poet compares reason to think and a clear stream, and in the next line he compares dead habits, superstitious beliefs to a dreary desert. So at the end, he wants a stream, he wants the line of reason, not to lose their way, but to win their way. They're not into the desert of prejudices. We're not divided. We're not living alone. In short, people should thought to be monitored by rational thinking, not by superstitious minds. Logic should rule or old baseless beliefs. Scientific rules should be brought. Mindset should be changed. Living awareness should be brought in. Stylistical, sophisticated living energy should be implemented. If you go to the next few lines, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action. Here, the poet wishes his countrymen, his own country people, to be progressive every time and to be broad-minded. He wants that their minds are led forward, should be led forward and ever-widening. They should have ever-widening thought and actions by the Almighty. So, we should be open-minded and do something unusual and extraordinary, overcoming the narrowness of mind. People pelt stones at you. Don't dishearten and don't go back. Into the heaven of freedom, oh my Father, let my country away. In the final lines of the poem, the poet addresses to the God as name Father. He asks him to wake his countrymen into such a heaven of freedom, heaven of independence, heaven of taking the fruits where the above conditions to meet. At the end, he gave a message. If all the people of the nation are not wise enough to lead a happy and a peaceful life of freedom from slavery, from avils, from brutal people, they cannot enjoy the freedom well. Only political freedom is not at all important. Along with it, unless and until we have fearless, self-dignified, self-dignity, knowledgeable, truthful, hardworking and broad-minded set of all these things, we can't enjoy the full freedom whenever whoever gives. Dear students, I hope you understood the voice of Rabindranath Tagore, how he really stood strong to make broad-minded people. He awakened. That was only the reason the Nobel Prize was awarded. Because Nobel Prize was garlanded. It isn't a simple poem. I request everyone to read it again and understand and get literate term meaning it. And a poem has many ways of meaning. You can't understand this poem as I understood. You can't get explanation of this poem as I explained it. So I wanted to get different other explanations. If you have to explain in your own way, how would you explain? Today, this is the assignment. Explain this poem in your own words. We'll meet in the next class to discuss about your explanation. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good learning. Stay home. Stay safe.